2. All right, hey guys, Kit here, Burn One Shadowverse Vault channel. As always, set review. We made it to Rune for set 7 Verdant Steel. Joined with same people as last time. Obviously, Prescia. Want to say hi? And Nova.
Hello, hello. It's time for Rune. I'm very excited about Rune for reasons you may already know.
Infamous.
All right. Here's
a
the rating
certain
key.
man that starts with a B and ends in an alphabet.
Yeah. Alphabet.
Rating key here, not going to really explain it. Let's just hop right into it. We got the first card here, Tetra Sapphire Rebel. It's a 3-drop 3/3, evolves for 1, and on Fanfare, put a repair mode token into your EX area. We'll just hop really quick to the repair mode token. This is the card itself. It's a 1-drop spell, quick, give your leader +1 health, Machina traded. Not super impressive, but gets used later for different things here. The evolve side on this card becomes a 4/4, and then while this card is on your field, any Machina card you play from the EX area costs 1 less. And then 4 times per turn, when you play a Machina card, select an enemy far on the field and deal it 1 damage. I'm not super familiar with the whole Machina package for Rune stuff. I wasn't too interested in it. I assume this is a pretty strong control tool for it. If you're generating a lot of repair modes and stuff like that, or any Machina cards in general, I guess, in the EX zone. But I assume Nova might have more to say.
Oh yeah, I've done quite a bit of playing and testing with this deck. Tetra is obviously one of the best and most important cards in the deck. The idea is you want to stack it. Now, she is a little bit, she's not as insane as Mistelina and Baleon, unfortunately, because she's very conditional in the fact that if you only have 1 or 2 repair modes in the, like, if you only have 1 repair mode, or you're just playing her for and getting the 1 repair mode, she's not that good. But if you have a bunch of repair modes that you've stacked already or can stack, she can be totally insane because repair modes have quick, and you can play, meaning you can play them on the opponent's turn, and since they're free, you can even play them when the opponent is attacking you or trying to attack her. You can play the repair modes for free and do damage to them as they're attacking. Basically snipe them. And it's so she is removal that works on both your and your opponent's turn, again providing you have the tokens. And there's a card and there's a spell later that we'll talk about with her. But when you play her, you get that spell out of the cemetery. You pay the 1. It costs 1, so you pay the 1 play point for it. To get it back out of the cemetery, and then you can play it for free from the EX because Tetra lets you play the Machina cards for 1 less. So yeah, she's insanely good, but she is reliant on the combo and having the setup. So that said, she's one of the most important tools in the Machina deck. A lot of the time, the game will be decided on, do you have Tetra at the right time?
Yeah. This card's really, I like this card a lot. As we go through the Machina cards, it is almost like a sort of removal, sided like mid-range deck. Like, it's not like as much removal as we saw in Naruto Sword, of course, but this is definitely a key player. Just making the EX area Machina cards cost 1 less is really nice, because most of the tokens are 1, and then I mean, she's just the generic 3-drop Evo stat line. Putting a repaired token into your EX is pretty good for the game plan and stuff. But yeah, it's almost like Latica, where it's like, let's see what else happens. Let's see what the other cards are like. This is definitely a nice role player. And yeah, I like the idea of being able to play them on the opponent's turn. I think that's a really, really, really strong thing, especially if you somehow get 2 of them out, but that might be a fantasy land.
What was I going to say? Yeah, this deck is very tempo oriented.
Yeah.
So
this is a hard one to rate. I don't even know.
I think she's an A. She's only not an S because it's not like Misty and Baleon, where they basically have no setup whatsoever. They're just, anytime you play them, they're insanely good. Tetra needs a little bit of work to see her full potential realized.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I like it.
I can agree with that. I like the way you kind of describe it. It's definitely not like part of like you need this to run the deck essentially, as far as like it being a part like a key engine for the deck. But it's generically a very powerful card for the deck. It seems like. All right, Nova, take it away.
It's him, the man, the myth, the legend, the Baphomet Lord of Iollon. 7 cost, 5/5 with Rush. Fanfare, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. From among them, you may summon any number of Machina followers that cost a total of 6 or less. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. And then at the start of your end phase, he gives each other Machina follower on your field +1/+1. My man, oh, I love what they did with him. So in digital, this version of Baphomet was the first one, and it was a very wacky meme card. Basically, what it did was, it turned all of the Machina cards in your deck into into the Furies, which are the 3 big giant robot ladies. From they've got printed in Glory Finder actually, in the Glory Finder format.
Did, yeah.
But so they were just these huge, powerful token cards. But the problem was that they were just it was a very Timmy kind of thing, where it was just like, oh, you get these huge, cool, super powerful cards, but it's just like it's not enough. It's awesome, but pretty impractical, fortunately.
Yeah.
They took that out completely for him to instead they kind of did it with the Glory Finder deck instead, which was a little funny. But yeah, so instead he's just, first off, it's it's if he were just the get stuff from the top of the deck, so you can get so you can get anything from like a whole bunch of like smaller followers to like just play a Techno Lord, which we'll talk about way later off of this. So and this deck is very tempo oriented. This is just gets you so much with just one thing, and then he has Rush on top of that, and then you're getting that, and then at the end of the turn, all of the other Machina falls are going to get buffed. So I think probably his best value is getting more of the uh I mean, if it makes sense to get the Technolord, get the Technolord. But you're probably getting more out of him if you're
Building
getting
the
like
board.
2 or 3 followers. Yeah, at least 2 or 3 followers off of that to get the board. So yeah, I love and even better, so the next set that has Machina and Natura stuff is set 12, and there is a Baphomet in that deck that is a 6 cost. So this Baphomet can get his later incarnation, which I love.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I love this card.
It's great. Yeah, no, I do genuinely think this card is great, but even if it wasn't, I would still be giving it all of the S's because this character so much. My love for this character is very, very infamous. I actually just recently ordered a custom playmat with him on it. So.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this card a lot because it's not every other deck or every other card we've seen is just like, if you have this card, do this. It's just play this, flip stuff over, ball out. It's just one card, super high value. It gives me a lot of sort of like Ector vibes from digital. Very less strong because he has Rush instead of giving everything else Rush, but it's really good. I think the question sort of becomes, is 7 mana okay? And I don't know, in my opinion, 7 mana is kind of late for like building a board. 7 mana is kind of late for not just killing your opponent, unless you're like a hard control deck, which this isn't really, It's really cool. I like it a lot, but there's still a lot of board clear around. Crimson Meteor Storm still exists. Lotica, is going to exist. There's going to be another deck that has a really efficient board clear that's going to exist later that we'll talk about. And yeah, I don't know. It's a really cool card. I love these type of cards. I just am a little skeptical how good it's gonna be.
Yeah,
Just because of
There
how, you know.
there are a lot of turn 7s where you don't want to play Belfman, unfortunately. That
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
case I have encountered, but there are just as many where you do. So
Yeah, this card is like super dependent on, I think, on two big things. One is like, what are we flipping off this, or what are we looking for necessarily? Because when
Mhm.
it comes to me, I okay. First of all, I love effects like this. I played a bunch of Passion in IMAS because I was just like, woo, flipping cards, let's go build up these crazy boards. So I obviously like that effect. I like the fact that in phase we're going to start pumping a lot of things. We're obviously staying in trait as Machina and everything. Rush at least lets you impact the board a little bit, so you're not necessarily with this card. Worst case scenario is that you get at least the cards that you summon from it, as well as like maybe it's like a side removal here. You can go in and then pump the board, and then this probably gets removed afterwards. The biggest question though is definitely like, what exactly are we looking for on the flip, and the things that we are flipping, are they things that when they come out we're gonna be really impactful to our to either our board or our opponent's board? That's like the big question to me. So like, this is the type of card like maybe some cases this card is like Nova has here, like 8 S tier going on,
Yeah.
and then other times it's like kind of a flop, and it's like, oh, that was like a C type of turn essentially. I think it just comes down to what are we looking at on the flip, when we do the flip here.
Yeah, he only has two downsides, which is that you don't always want to play him on 7. He can be a little situational, and the fact that even though he has rush, he only has 5 defense. So depending on how big the thing is you're swinging into, you don't want to trade him, because otherwise you don't buff all the stuff that you summoned. So that can be a little bit of an unfortunate thing, but otherwise, yeah. I'm getting 3 super legendary versions
Yeah.
this Friday.
Why did they do an ultra rare? Why did they do an ultra rare for my man?
Maybe even get his voice actor to sign it, because I am kind of sort
Oh,
of
that's
friends with
cool.
his English voice actor a little bit,
Oh,
maybe.
that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
he's
sick.
a really cool guy. Sean Chiplock, check him out. He streams on Twitch. Sonic Mega on Twitch. But yeah, no. No, he doesn't get a ultra rare, because it's mostly based on whoever got leader cards in digital.
Yeah.
It's his version from Renascent Chronicles that had the leader card, so that'll get a UR whenever that gets printed, but that won't be for a while. So
Yeah, I'm really torn on this card, because I think in some cases it's probably like insane, and in other cases you're just like, well, it's like even playing this is just like whatever. Because I like the fact that it gets the pump, and if you happen to go wide when you do the flip too, is just like, here's this wide board now that after you've done a board clear prior to this or something, like if you don't answer this board, I'm probably winning on the very next turn. Which I like stuff like that, but sometimes with how this game is played, it's just like, no, you need like the instant damage to like burst your opponent for game a lot of the times, unless you're playing like that hard control deck, I feel like. What are you feeling?
My worry is that it's like this is coming down on the turn after they dealt 10 damage with Misselina.
yeah, that's the situation where you don't. That's the situation where you don't play him.
Yeah. Well, then, yeah. I mean, that's the situation where it's like, okay, good game. I'm gonna go get some food.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go split here between, because like I kind of want to rate him A, and then at the same time, like just because of like how this might roll out, it feels like between A and C. So I'm just gonna split in between and go with the B. You probably have some really good high rolls when you do play this guy out, and then some other times it's just like you said, it says like it's turn 7, but it's like the worst option in your hand to be playing on turn 7 just due to the board state.
Yeah, those criticisms are fair, but also it's Belphegor. I just love him very. I love him very much.
Yeah. All right.
Could never rate my man anything lower than an S. I'm sorry.
Fair, understandable. Before we jump to the next card, real quick, was this guy a portal card in digital?
Yes, he was.
Okay, that's what I was like, I'm pretty sure he was a portal card. I just could not remember.
yeah, that was my prediction for a super long time. Is like when they announced that Shadowverse Evolve was not going to have Portal Craft, but would get Portal Craft cards. I'm like, oh, Belphegor's going in Rune, obviously.
Yeah. It's having visions of like what, like wait, what? Where's this guy from?
Listen,
his technology is all like Magitech anyway, so
like when
it makes sense.
when I was
And he's
playing
a
a
mad
lot of
scientist.
digital,
And he's a
I
mad
did not pay
scientist,
attention.
so Rune is the mad scientist class if it's not Portal. If they're not if they're not Portal and they're not and they're a mad scientist, they're in Rune.
Anyway, when I played digital, anytime I played against Portal in ladder or something, I was like, I have no idea what this deck does. I'm just gonna do my generic stuff, and hopefully that's enough to win the game. And I just like never learned anything about Portal, like playing the game at all, because it was introduced later on, like when I kind of quit the game, and then when I came back, it was a deck, and I like read cards. I was like, what is going on? Drawing, discarding cards, like, and putting cards back in your deck. I was just like, what is happening? I don't want to think about Portal at all.
The funny thing is, Portal kind of abandoned that play style sort of quickly. And then Portal just became like the jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing, where it just like it could do all sorts of things, but it didn't do any one thing super specifically well.
Yeah, when I did come back,
it's kind
and
of
I was
one
like,
reason why I liked it so much. Aside from the aesthetic, it was just like it wasn't anything like super hyper specialized. Like I can't play Forest. I can't count. I can't do combos. What are you talking about?
I just remember too talking about Portal Craft, like if it did come to physical, like I just remembered that mechanic only, and I was like, oh, I wonder if they would adapt it as like by the number of cards in your hand, you get this or this. But
I'm known as the Portal Craft main that hates art. I am the Portal Craft's main thing is artifacts, and I am the artifact hating Portal main because I can't do the combos with it.
Yeah,
I just want to play the big robots. That's why I like the Machina Portal deck in digital, which is what this guy was always the face of, because it's just control and then play big robots and win.
Yeah.
Right.
Machina Portal was one of the funnest like competitive decks.
It's so fun.
In which it was one SVO I got top 8 in. But anyway.
Oh, sweet.
Belmont's cool.
He is sick.
Time to talk about
this menace.
Riley, Hydro, Shaman. I know Shaman, I like saying Shaman. Fanfare, Earthright. Choose one of the following. If this card was put on the field from the cemetery, choose up to 3 instead. Select any follower on the field and deal it 5 damage. Give this follower 3 attack, or draw 2 cards. Activate 6 play points. Summon this card from your cemetery. Give it Storm and Last Words. Banish this follower. Riley is the anime villain where she's like the henchman to like the first arc villain. And
I was about to say she's the harbinger of the Dirt Rune menace to come.
She comes back and it does the most disgusting acts in the entire like it's absurd. This card is not good right now, but trust me.
Just you wait.
Yeah, just
soon.
You wait. Just
soon.
Soon.
I gotta say, this card was a menace for me in digital. I just remember always playing against Rune and then seeing this card zoom out of their deck, and I'm like, oh, I'm dead. Please get me out of this game.
The Carol deck.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, she was a Natura card in digital. Now she's Earthright, which makes sense because her later retrains were Earthright.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Outside of the Carol deck. Yeah.
Yeah.
This card basically saw no play during this meta though, right? Which was the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the secret F tier now, S tier later.
Yeah. I don't think no. I don't even think it's F right now. It's fully static.
No, Dirt Rune is playable right now. It's not great, but it's playable.
I mean, I don't think Earthright is playable, but I think this card may make it like.
All right, I'll give it a D. Listen,
I'm giving it
the copium.
It's the DS.
Yep. The dual
Nintendo
screen,
DS.
Nintendo DS. Yeah, exactly.
dual screens. One screen is bad now. The other screen is gonna give you hell later.
Yeah.
I'm sure when the set first was released in Japan and everyone was upset they opened the U, we're so happy later they were holding on to that card.
No, the U is like one of the best U's of this set.
Her ultimate rare artwork is really nice. I'm sad it wasn't Petra. But
that's one of those where I wish the base art was actually the ultra rare. I like the base art more. For the Riley.
All right.
She's good.
Let's move along here. We have this 2-drop 2/2. Eleanor? Is that how you say that?
Eleanor.
Yeah.
Yep. Eleanor
Cosmic
Gloria.
Flower. Evolves for 1, becomes a 3/3 on the evolve, and then Fanfare is discard a spell, draw a card. On the evolve side, on evolve, search your deck for a Splendid Conjury, put into your EX here, then shuffle your deck, spell chain 10. It costs 2 less to play this turn. I guess it kind of depends on how good that card is. Is it down here? Let's just jump to it. Is this it right
let's
here?
just go look at that. That's Splendid Conjury is a 2-cost spell. Select up to 3 enemy flowers on the field and deal 3 damage divided between them. If Eleanor Cosmic Flowers on your field, deal 5 damage divided between them instead. So
I'll move this up here since
yeah.
just read it back to back really quick. I'm not sure how I feel about this card at all.
Remember, so you know how Curse Crafter just got restricted?
Oh, does she become the new Curse Crafter?
She's our new Curse Crafter. Meet your new Curse Crafter,
No,
everybody.
No, she's not. No, she's not. No, she's no. You can't compare this to
To the goat.
No way. Yeah. Chris Craft is the goat. No, I mean this card, like we saw in Japan, this card really never got played, or like really like competitively, because Chris Crafter got banned, but you just replaced Chris Crafter with like 2 spells, and then that's it. And the problem with this card is that Kuan is way too optimized for like this kind of cute card. It's like 2/2, and then it discards and draws, and then you get another spell from the grave, but it's like you don't even get the cost reduction until your spell chain 10, which by the time you're spell chain 10, you're winning the game. It's also not an Onmyoji, and it sucks that you have to talk about it like this, because really you cannot play spell boost outside of Kuan right now, and so filling your deck with non-spell, non-Onmyoji cards that really don't do much at all, especially like if you don't have a Trail of Light in hand, is terrible. This is a really good card on paper, but it's support for the most optimized deck in the game.
That's really fair. I feel like you just throw her into Kuan just because, like, as something to kind of to fill like Cursecraft void. It's mostly for the removal, because I think one of the big reasons Cursecrafter was so good is because of the how the removal it was the
adding to the deck.
wow, why can't I talk? The way it was really efficient removal. That was the word I was looking for. And Eleanor's not quite as good as that. I don't honestly think if you only run the 2 of her just to replace the 2 Curse Crafters, I think that's fine. The problem is then there becomes like where do you put in the Splendid Conjuries, because we have other spells that we're running. We want a bunch of like 1-up spells that we get with Merlin and stuff like that. I definitely think she can be running Kuan, and I think she's probably decent in it. That said, you can not run her in Kuan and just be totally fine. You can just run like you mentioned, you can just run 2 spells instead, and it probably doesn't make that big of a difference.
I'm like, this card just seems okay. It's not super amazing. I probably would not consider this card until like near the end, if like I needed to fill out a deck, maybe. Just the difference between this card and Curse Crafter is Curse Crafter was just so good at efficiently either removing one big thing or removing a wide board, which is like I feel like one of the slight weaknesses to Rune, which is why like the games you see Curse Crafter are so insane versus the games you don't see Curse Crafter in Kuan. And the fact that you have to kind of run that package of these 2 cards together makes it kind of awkward. Maybe it fits in a different like deck archetype down the line or something. But it's not like I don't want to. I feel like I don't want to say completely that this is like the F, like it's F tier, but I definitely feel like it's more of like on the D side for sure than F.
Yeah, it is strictly worse than Curse Crafter because you do need the other card, but you still do get you can go for you can go for like Curse Crafter. The Splendid Conjury does go for split the damage among a wide board or just hit one big thing. So it does have that going for it. But otherwise it's just very, if you want to run it in Kuon, go ahead. You don't have to though.
Yeah, I kind of think this, like, thinking about it more, I think this card's unplayable. You have to, it's even if you play 2 of these, it's 5 deck slots, because you don't even play Fire Chain right now, like even that's like an option, and the Splendid Conjury is like a side grade Fire Chain, and that's not good enough. And even with the Eleanor, it's like, okay, 2 mana, deal 5, fine. I'd rather play 9 more angelic sites like we can on the next card, you know? Like, I don't know. I also just feel like if you cut the 2 curse crafts, you just put 2 more Onmyoji cards that you can't fit. Because most decks aren't playing 3 of the classical sorcerers, 3 of the demon caller, and 3. You know, like you just fill those out.
We were already running 3 demon caller. Traditional sorcerer is usually a 2 of, so you can run
so
one
you
of
just
her
put
and then
that
maybe
one
like one other
in.
spell. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I want a raider higher, but those are all really good points. So.
Bro, you got to play the one of Presto Changeo too. So I don't think so. I don't think this card's good.
Yeah, and then have their opponent just summon their Kuon.
Yeah. Oh, also I just realized Splendid Conjuring's not quick.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, that's another.
Wait a minute. I
That's
forget
true.
that stuff. All right. My
Yeah.
brain was just like, it's a fire chain that deals 5. That seems fine. Okay, I'm gonna give this a D-, even
It's
though we
not
never do
quick.
minuses. But the spell itself, if you play it by itself, seems absolutely miserable. You either play this package or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the next card.
All right. Who's reading this one?
I think you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Delta Cannon. When a Tetra Sapphire, Delta Cannon. It's a 1-cost spell with quick. Wow. Sorry. Take 3. Delta Cannon. 1-cost spell. When a Tetra Sapphire Rebel is put onto your field, pay 1 play point. Put this card from your cemetery into your EX area, and then it has quick. Select an enemy follower on the field and deal it 2 damage. It is Machina and Golem. Yeah, this is the spell I mentioned earlier, which is like you just, so when this is in your cemetery and you play Tetra, you get this, you pay the 1 play point for it, and then it's free. It's not free because it's technically not free because you're paying the 1 that you would have paid for it to get it back out of the cemetery, but then you don't have to pay for it again because then you're just paying it from Tetra. So basically it basically just lets you play it again.
Yeah.
So and then that combined with, ping a thing when ping things for 1 when Tetra is on the board and you play the Machina cards, and on top of that it's a snipe. So yeah, this is, yeah,
It's probably just like the premium
this
1-drop
helps.
removal, especially if you're in the Machina package, obviously, right?
Yeah, it's I'm just struggling to find the word of how good this is for how good this is. Honestly, it's like almost better than Tetra herself.
Yeah.
Like,
Snipe is just, is just a really, really good card. Now you can play 9 of them in the deck. This is just, the on trait Snipe, and then with Tetra being able to flit or to Evo, and then be basically doing 3 damage on with these. It's almost to the Blaze Breath 4, the Blazing Breath 4. It's really strong. Yeah, this card's really strong. This is what you need to see. I think my main issue is that you need to see this before you see Tetra in most games. I
yeah, that
think
is something I have ran into sometimes, where
yeah,
it's like, oh, I have my Tetra, but I don't have my Delta Cannon yet.
yeah, and we
That can be
haven't
a little bit of a.
seen. Yeah, I think there's maybe one mech like searcher, but we haven't seen like a really good one yet. Um, and yeah, I think the only thing is like this hit face in digital. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave
Yeah.
this hit face in digital. If it hit face here, I mean,
Yeah, it would be
that'd be
broken if
broken.
it hit
That'd be broken. So
face. I get why they made it not hit face.
yeah,
Uh,
it's just the 7th, 8th, and 9th, you know, snipe if you
yeah,
want to be playing that, and that's pretty good.
it's yeah.
I forgot, did Tetra banish this card when it was played from the EX area?
Nope.
No? Oh, so you
it
can
just
just
goes
have
back to
one?
the cemetery.
Oh,
You can
sick.
recur it.
That's
Yes.
pretty cool, actually. Okay,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, I'm
You
gonna
play it.
I was
then you
gonna-
play your Tetra, you get it back out, you play it with her again, and then it goes back to the cemetery, and then you play another Tetra, and then you get it back out of the cemetery again.
I was gonna give it an A, but I like this interaction. It's pretty funny. You only need to see one, but yeah, you're right. You have to see the first one before you start slamming Tetra to the board, it feels like. But it's still, yeah, I really like this card. I like cards like this that they've been doing recently, where it's just like snipe, but with added effects if you play into like the certain mechanic or something.
Oh yeah.
All right, moving on here. I think Prussia.
All right. Displacer bot, 3 mana, 3/2. Evo for 2, Ward, Fanfare. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may put a Machina card from among them into your EX area. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. And then on Evolve, it still has Ward. And it selects an enemy fall on the field and deal it damage equal to 2 times the number of Machina cards in your EX area, and it only gains +1/+1. Why does this card have like +1 cost on each thing? Like, why is this not a 2-mana 3/2, and why does this cost 2 to evolve? This is
Yeah,
really
that's my
weird.
only complaint. My only complaint with it. Otherwise, it's well, a fun thing to. By the way, a fun thing to play with this. A fun game to play with the rune cards in this set is it an actual Machina? Is it an actual Machina rune card, or is it a Portal Craft card they put in a rune for
Yeah,
this
this is
set?
Portal. Yeah, this is
This was originally a Portal card.
yeah. I remember
Uh,
the gold version, like just he was just having like a seizure on the like animated version.
oh yeah.
He was vibing.
Yeah. My only complaint with this card is the fact that it does evolve for 2. That has proven to be frequently annoying in the games where I played and tested this deck, especially if you go first. Then it's not, because then it doesn't come out till
Yeah, it's turn
till
5.
turn
Oh,
you need that till turn 5. But the search is really good. The ward is the even though I do wish I wish the stats were flipped. I guess that's my other complaint is I wish the stats were flipped. I wish it was a 2/3 and a 3/4 on Evo instead of the other way around. So you can kind of make better use of the fact it has ward. But otherwise, no, it's nice to have that ward. You get the search, you get the you get removal. Even if you only have one Machina card, even if you only have the one Machina card that you got off the search, it's still 2 damage. You can still snipe. So yeah, I think it's if this card were evolved for 1 and was a 2/3 3/4 on Evo, it would be an S tier. Otherwise, I still think it's good as it is, but it's just I see those things as like, oh, but it could have been so much better.
If there's not another searcher card or whatever you want to say in this Machina set, I'm really, really down on Machina. I think this is the worst card
There
in
is one
this.
more search, but
Yeah.
it's not as good. It only searches top 2.
I think this is a really horrendous card. I'm really shocked how bad this is. Like I'm almost like, are you sure it costs 2 to evolve? And like it does. I double checked. This is a really, really terrible card. It dies to someone looking at it on the pre evolved, and then after you spend 5 mana, you don't even need the extra line of text on Surefire to kill it. It's never. It's you're basically spending 3 mana to draw a card and put a card in your EX area. This thing will never, ever, ever, ever live. It will just never live. And I really don't like that. I also really hate how low the damage is realistically gonna be, because yeah, he's probably just gonna be doing 2 damage on evolve for 5 mana. And even if you have played something before and you have another thing in the EX area, it's still only 4 damage, and that's like Robin Hood. And Robin Hood is a better card than like, and
But
this
I
is
mean,
just a
but here's the
really
thing: you also have things like the Mecha Wing Angel and you have the neutral stuff like the Mecha Wing Angel and the Mecha Gun Wielder. And this deck is a lot about getting stuff in the EX area. So I don't think so. I think that's like a that's a worst case it's a worst case scenario that you're only dealing 2 damage. I think more often than not you don't. You
yeah,
do. I do
but
think
you
more
need to
often than that
be.
you deal more than that because that's what this deck is about. This deck is trying to get stuff in EX.
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I feel like you need to be doing 6 for this card to be okay. I think you
I,
need if it does 4, I think the card's bad, and I think if it does 2, this is the worst card of the game.
Yeah, I think the one thing about this card, I'm more impressed with the base side as far as like it's going to replace itself. It on 3, dropping this 3/2. Yeah, it dies to like being looked at, but at least it replaces itself and puts some type of body on the board. Your opponent has to kind of like I don't want to say respect, but they know if it lives a turn, then you know you can evo and like blow up a big guy if needed, which is kind of nice in that sense. So like I don't think it's the worst card in the world, but it's definitely not like what it's definitely not like turning any heads being like whoa what that's yeah, this card is just like you probably play it because you need the ability to find certain cards when like as early as on turn 3 to start getting things going, because at the end of the day, it just definitely does feel like there's better, if you care about the Evo side, there seems to be better removal in existence for the deck right now. In Rune in general. But the base side is the part that I like the most about this card, even though I think the stat line does suck.
Yeah. No, the removal does come in handy more than you might think, but yeah, it's just this card is doing good things. It just could be doing them so much better, and that's what's frustrating. That said,
Yeah.
it's you still like obviously you still run it. It still does things that you need it to do, but yeah, it's I just really if this card were better, just Machina Rune in general would be a lot better. Like as I said, it's kind of a middle of the road kind of deck this set. It's not it's not super bad, but it's not, it's not up there with Sword and Abyss.
That's
And
my
cards like this are
issue.
unfortunately kind of the reason why.
Yeah, that's my issue. Is like if you have to play this, then and this is just how I think. If you have to play a card like this, the deck sucks. Like this is just this
or the
is,
payoff
this
has
is
to be
terrible.
insane if you have to play cards like this. Yeah.
And like for me, it's like, are they like intentionally nerfing the stats of this because of it flipping off of Baphomet? But then the weird thing is like Baphomet also like looks at mana cost, so it's like you can't even like feel good about getting this off Baphomet because then you're getting like you're drawing one card and then you have to get like basically two mana worth costs or like of stats almost, and then you also can only get a 2 and a 1 drop after that or another 3 drop. Like you'd rather just get 2 or 3 2 drops. I really think this card is bad. I don't know. I'm giving this an F just because I just don't even think you play this in the mech deck. Like why do
No,
you need
you
to
do. You do. You need this card.
That's rough.
Yeah, I just think it's I'm whoops, did I hit enter there? Okay. This to me, whatever. I'm giving it a D. I don't know how that happened. I do think like one, I always like cards that replace themselves, and it seems like we're gonna have to be playing this if you decide to play the Machina stuff for Rune.
Yeah.
I'm very curious of why it does cost 2 to Evo. Was it like in testing the fact that you can do this on 4? You're right, they don't test, but I'm gonna pretend they do. I'm wondering if like in testing, in their fake testing, they're like, oh, this evolving on 4 or 3 was just like obnoxious and like too powerful, and then that's why like maybe it got like nerfed overall. The stat line, the biggest thing is like the stat line doesn't make sense to me. I agree. I would rather this be a 2-3 and a 3-4 than what it is now. At least it'd be slightly better in my opinion. But like I said, I think if you play this card, you're mostly playing it for the base side, and then the little extra cherry on top, if needed, is you can play one or maybe even 2 copies of the Evo side if you have the room for it, depending what's going on.
Yeah, actually, I'm changing it to D because you only run this in the Machina, and that's the only thing where it's playable. Otherwise, it just has way too many problems. And even you guys are even in Machina, you're not that big on it, but you do need it, unfortunately.
Playable asterisk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that right now, that's why I think this is like, unfortunately, it's like a forced card so far. Maybe I change my mind later on. It's just, it looks like there's not a lot of like hand incursion essentially coming in this deck naturally, unlike we saw that stuff in Sword and stuff. We get our Alice and things like that. So
yeah.
All right, moving on
Makes
here.
sense.
I already forgot whose turn is it.
I think it's Prussia's.
I thought I just read Displacer Butter.
Okay, then I'll read this. This is a 2-drop 3/1 follower, mechanized life form, fanfare. Put a repair mode token into your EX area. Once per turn, when you play a Machina card, draw a card. This dies to literally a breeze. Like if we the very deep lore for people who've been watching this channel forever. If we play this card in the Wind Tunnel Prussia, it would have died before it even made it to the field.
Yo! Shout out to the Dirt Root player who half his deck blew under the truck.
Oh God, I remember that. That was insane.
I had to go get his cards for him.
That was the best tournament ever. I don't care. The Wind Tunnel tournament. Oh man, I like the fact that this is kind of like you get a draw card. So I feel like a lot of times if you are playing this card, you're going to be playing it with another card in the same turn. So I'm not like, if you're forced to play this on 2, it feels probably pretty bad. But I guess at the same time, actually, I don't know. Like,
It's once per turn. Wait, what?
uh,
Because in digital it was
Yeah,
once per turn.
in digital it wasn't
It
limited to
wasn't
once per
that.
turn.
It wasn't.
But repair modes and Delta Cannon have quick, so you can play this, get a draw, and then on your opponent's turn you play the you play the quick spell, and then you draw again. So
You
Yeah.
have to hold mana up, and
assuming
it's
it doesn't die then. Assuming
yeah,
it doesn't
and you
die
have to
before
hold
then.
mana
But
up.
yeah, the hard part about this card is it dies to like literally anything in the world. Essentially, that's like the one part that's like really hurting me. The fact that you get the repair mode token though is probably fine. My assumption is you need copies of stuff like that for this deck to function. Essentially,
yeah.
I mean, it seems like Nova, you've been playing the deck more than obviously I have. Is this a card
Yeah.
that's like being kind of like forced to play just because of what it does?
Yeah, this card's important because you need it for the draw, and it combos well with Tetra.
Yeah. I
Now
can.
here's a question:
Hmm?
if you get this off Belphegor, do you get the draw?
You would have to play another Machina card after that, so
Or, yeah,
you do get the
or,
repair
like,
mode token, but
If you
then
order
you have
it,
to-
like
if you
with
get
the
two
Belphegor-
cards,
yeah.
you'd order it where this card goes in first, then the second card would be. Wait, is that considered? Is that
That's
considered
what I'm
play?
asking. That's what I'm asking.
I'd have to actually reread.
I'm
the
not
rule
sure.
book.
I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't think it is, because I think it's just stuff coming onto the field from the effect.
Yeah, it's
It's
probably
like
you have to
summon
play
it,
something
but
else.
it's not playing the card.
Does Tetra lower the cost on her? No, she doesn't. Oh man. Oh
Yeah, her
man.
cost reduction's only on the evolve side.
Macaroon, what we doing? What are we doing? The only reason the stat line was acceptable in digital was because you go +5. You know, like that was the only reason the stat line was acceptable.
Yeah, like couldn't they have least made it a 2-3-2? I mean, it still dies to a snipe, but like at least it doesn't die to like another Tetra Ping in the mirror.
Yeah, this just seems like another card too. Like you're probably just forced to run, even though you're not happy with the stat line. But its effect overall is just like you need to generate stuff in the EX era, and like you occasionally with this card get an extra draw, get a cycle through your deck a little bit more, which seems like because so far it seems like there's very minimum of that going on right now. It seems like another you're forced to play this card in the archetype.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Two cards we have to include that are awful. That's not a good sign for Belphegor, man.
I don't even know if they're awful. They just could be so much better, and they're just so like, well, but why did they make this not better?
Yeah.
It's just disappointing.
Yeah.
We're not mad at these cards. We're just disappointed.
Yeah.
I almost feel like that's worse, but all right. Let's jump to the next card here.
Okay. All right. Mecha Staff Sorcerer. 2 cost 2/2. Fanfare. Put an assembly droid or repair mode token into your EX area. Activate. Engage this card. Banish a Machina card from your EX area. Select an enemy follower on the field and deal a damage equal to the number of Machina cards in your EX area. Machina and Mage trait.
What do we do?
So
why is he -1 and then do 0?
I know. I
He's
hate
not
that
a
so
2/3.
much.
Why is he not a 2/3? This effect is too broken that he has to get hit with that, with the health debuff, and then freaking the furry axe guy, the lupine axeman, is fully statted, has no downsides, and you just deal that. Like, what are we doing, dude?
Yeah, I'm so mad. This isn't like Lupine Axeman. It's just like, why can't this just be like Lupine Axeman? Why? If most of the time you're just gonna use it, you're just gonna play it on 2, get your token, and that's gonna be it. Like the removal is just
It's super fake.
it's so fake. It is fake. That is the fakest removal. It's the fakest removal. It's
So far, I just want to think. So far, if we're thinking about a Belphegor flip, if we go like Belphegor flip mech staff, mechanized life form, and then maybe another mech staff or something like that, he does 2 damage, I guess. Like if you have nothing else in the EX, which is probably unlikely. But at least I guess it's just like a way to on the Belphegor flip get some board some board damage, some board interaction.
Mhm.
Um,
I
and
mean,
but the issue then is sort of like my issue with the like displacer bot, where it's like with stuff like that, you have to like be getting a bunch of stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
you have to like sacrifice your 3-drop, stuff from Belphomet, like the Tetra, and you have to just get like 3 2-drops, or because he says just mech, right? It's not, or Machina, right? It's not Rune Machina. Yeah, so you can get some of the like neutral Machina stuff as well. So it's like that stuff kind of worries me, where it's like that's why I almost don't want to even play the displacement bot at all, because it's like I just want 2-drops and 1-drops and the Tetra, and maybe the Angel and neutral. And so that when I flip Belpham at the top 5 is just like I'm getting 3 or 4 things guaranteed,
what's
and then
so
I'm able to like capitalize on effects like this, where it's like, okay, I'm yeah.
what's so disappointing about this card is that this could have been a payoff for the playing Machina Rune, essentially. Like having a 2-drop follower that will just deal 5 damage if you have a full thing is like pretty cool. I don't see like curving this out necessarily being too crazy either. So I'm wondering, why did they decide that like this should be the cost? Like we need to banish a Machina card from Exer to even play this card, essentially. Like,
Yeah, it hurts so bad because you need the stuff. I just hate having to do that because I need to have those things in there for Tetra.
yeah, you know how sick it would have been, like you play how do you say his name? And my brain is so broken right now.
Belphomet?
Belphomet? Yeah, there we go. Flipping 3 of these off of Belphomet and dealing 5 damage to 3 things on the board immediately would be pretty cool.
No, that's not how it works though. That's not how it works though. It would do 4, then 3, then 2.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying if they didn't have this random
they did.
cost,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that would be a really cool payoff for this deck as well. Like, yeah, then I think
Yeah.
like if that cost wasn't there, this card would go from like an F to like probably an A, or maybe even maybe an, I'm not sure, but
honestly,
yeah.
I'd probably put this would be a bigger an A if you didn't have to if it was just engage this card, deal damage to enemy follower based on how many Machina stuff's in your EX, and you don't have to get rid of one first. That would immediately make it way better, alas.
Yeah, because right now the payoff for the deck is like it's not bad, but it's definitely not attracting me to like play this deck immediately.
This deck is carried so hard by the neutrals.
All right, we'll jump here really quick. So this is the assembly droid, because I believe this is the first time it was mentioned. It's just a 1-drop 1/1 follower, and then activate, engage this card, bury 3 Machina followers, select an enemy follower on the field, and deal it 5 damage.
Yep.
All right. Moving on here. I don't even remember.
Worth noting, it was just a 1-cost 1/1 in digital. I like in SVE they gave it another little effect, or like you can blow up 3 of them and deal some damage. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Because you can't evolve them now. I can't make them 3/3s.
Yeah. All right. Prototype Warrior, 1 mana 2/1 fanfare. Choose one of the following. Put an assembly droid token into your EX area. Or if there are at least 3 Machina cards in your EX area, give this follower +1/+1 and rush. This is probably the best one we've seen. Like, I
finally
like this one a
good Machina Rune card.
This card is really good. I really like this card.
Yeah, I'm always very happy to see this card on one.
Yeah. Captain's gonna fast forward to this part, so I do have to shout out Golem's Rampage on 2 after you play this on 1 is pretty sick. I am not being held hostage.
Blink if you need help right
now. But this card's cool. It's just the worst archetype we've seen, in my opinion. I think this is worse than 9 or 4 so far.
I'm giving it a B. The reason why it's not an A is because I think the second effect is usually not as relevant, because you want to play this, as early as possible. And
really? I feel like,
and by that end, if you're you're playing it the first couple turns, you probably don't have 3 Machina cards in your EX yet. So sadly, that makes it less good. But otherwise,
I like it. I like it for the fact that it has that extra secondary effect, because occasionally, like late game, you're like, okay, well, this at least is a one drop, do 3 damage type of thing. So you get that extra like cherry on top. It makes it more of a reasonable inclusion.
Yeah, that does make it not. That does help it a lot. Make it less of a dead draw in the late game. But
yeah, I mean it's for the Belphomet flip. I mean, right? Like that's for sure. Yeah, so this is the best card we've seen that for the Baphomet flip. Honestly, not joking. This is the only good one we've seen. You can get like Tetra and then 3 of these. Like then
Yeah.
we're like, oh, then I'm like, okay,
then we're cooking.
That'd
Yeah.
be a sick turn,
Yeah.
actually.
And then
And that's
your top 5 is like 3 displacer bots, and you're like, all right, time to switch decks.
Oh man.
Yeah, and funny enough, this was a portal card in digital, which is that's why it's
This
good.
is actually a base set portal card, right?
It's really old, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on here. We have this 2-drop 2/2 Magiblade Witch. Evolves for 1 into a 3/3. That's all on the base side. On the evolve side, we have on evolve, choose one of the following: summon a magic sediment token, or 2 Earthright. Select up to 2 enemy flowers in the field and deal 4 damage divided between them. It only cost 1 to evo. This card seems totally fine for Earthright. Like,
yeah, this is a really nice.
Yeah.
It's very good in Earthright. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is included in Earthright once it really pops off in set 9.
Yeah, I'd definitely
like
be including it now if I could.
Yeah.
So for sure.
Yeah, and even if you're playing it now, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know. There's not much else to say. I feel like this is at least a B. I'm gonna give it a B. That's why I feel like.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think so too. It reminds me a little bit of what was it? Rune. There was I forget the name of it, but there's a set 1 card. It was like Rune Blader or something. It was a dirt rune card. It reminds me a little bit of that, but better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving this a C because even like when Earthright becomes good, this is still just like a side. Like it's a tech card. Like it's not in the like auto include.
Yeah, it's definitely a meta dependent card, probably, right? Because it just the value wise for this card overall just seems solid all around. So I'm pretty happy.
Are you thinking of Spectral Wizard?
No, hold on, I'm looking it up because it's bugging me now. Hold on, what was the name of that card? Runic Guardian.
Oh, which one?
Yeah, she reminds me a little bit of Runic Guardian, but better.
Oh yeah. I feel like Runic Guardian is way better than this card. I feel like Runic Guardian.
I mean, Runic Guardian is more defensive because you get the ward, but and the buffs on the stats. But this is kind of like almost like a reverse. It's like Runic Warrior meets Dragon Warrior. Runic Dragon Warrior. But yeah, she's a B.
All right, moving on here. Nova.
Oh boy. Presto Changeo. It's a 2-cost spell. Select an enemy card on the field and put it on the bottom of its owner's deck. Its controller may put a follower or amulet from their hand onto the field.
I like that the Japanese name is 1/2 Magic. And they changed it to Presto Changeo. All right.
Yeah, this is the only card I have rated F so far. This is why. It's just it's not worth it. Like,
oh my god, I hope everyone plays this against me, and I hope I have Genesis Drag in my hand for some reason every time. Oh my god.
It's just
get out of here, Pressure. They'll do this to me.
It's
Yo, could you no, hold on. The Crosscraft Abyss Rune deck where we discard their whole hand and then we put something to the bottom and they can't put anything out because they have 0 cards in hand.
I hate you.
Wow, okay. Yeah, okay. Maybe in Magical Christmas Land, but
See, I'm putting an S for you.
Well, get that S out of my box. This is pretty miserable.
yeah.
This is a pretty miserable card. Oh my god.
It's so bad. Like, why? Like, it's not even that it's just like it's just a not useful effect. It's just not that great because there's other things that can there's other things that can do this. I mean, it's cheap. There's nothing that can get off something and anything off the board immediately for 2, but but then your opponent just like plays a Kuon or a Genesis Dragon. It's just like, no, it's not. In no universe is this ever worth it.
Why does this also say Amulet? Like, they can play an Amulet also. Imagine doing this against Haven on 2, and they're like, here's Seraph on 2? No.
But my thing is, like, what Amulet did they have in mind when they designed this card? Like, what were they thinking about?
Oh man, yeah,
The tree, I guess.
I have no idea. This is I don't okay, yeah, I don't even want to talk about this card
If you
anymore.
use it to remove, if you use it to remove a tree, they get the draw anyway.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Wait, you can't. Can
You
you use
guys
it
keep
on?
forgetting the trees are not like they are in digital.
No, I
They're
meant like
No.
play it. I meant like play it. Oh well,
Yeah,
it's
I
never
don't
done
know.
from
Like,
hand.
yeah, I don't know why they let you play an amulet also for this. It's just this is so weird. I like the art. That's the yeah. I guess I like the art. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's just move on before I get sad.
All right.
it's just this card is just like someone was just taking the piss when they printed this.
Clearly. All right.
All right.
Go ahead.
Sagacious,
Yes.
sagacious. Core.
Sagacious core.
Yeah. I had it the first time. I guess 1 mana fanfare. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You may reveal a Machina card from among them and add it to your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Activate engage this card. Put this card into your cemetery. Deal 1 damage to each enemy leader. Activate only if you have 3 Machina cards in your EX area.
Yeah.
That is such a
Look at 2 of
random.
the worst cards ever printed is my issue. Like all these cards suck except for Belphegor and Tetra.
What's up with this like condition of like being able to pop this card to do anything? You have to have 3.
All of the cores are like that. All the
Yeah, all the cores are like that. I wish it was, could we at least make it 2 damage?
Listen,
Like, why is it just only 1? Like, you had 3 just to deal 1. Like, you play this for the search. It's only a 2-card search, but still, whatever. It's to get your Machina stuff. But and you have to have 3 in the EX then to do 1. It just feels so. This card just feels so bad. Like the other cores are pretty good.
The other issue I have is like
I think the other cores are way better. And the thing is, they're almost exactly the same, and yet this one manages to somehow be the worst.
The other issue I have is like a lot of these like effects are like okay, have you're rewarded for having stuff in the EX area, like the displacer bot, like this this core, but then you're like punished for playing cards like the displacer bot that put good cards into your EX area because you have to play them. Like this whole archetype is like you want cards in your hand, but you're playing cards. That's why I think the displacer bot you don't even play at all. But it's like you're still getting punished because you have to take stuff out of your EX area to play the card. But
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like that with the Sagacious core where it's just like for 1 day, like whatever. Like this card is just awful.
It's just not
Go
mad.
ahead.
I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, all I gotta say is, who hurt you? Whoever designed these cards for
That's
Rune, who hurt you? Just
Yeah.
All right, I'm kind of sad because listen, I'm not like the biggest Rune simp ever, but I enjoy a good Rune deck. This is kind of I like
Did you enjoy Kuan?
what's up?
I said, did you enjoy Kuan?
Well, that's to be decided this weekend when I either get first place with the Kuan or I eat garbage and go get a big steak in Texas.
What tournament is? Oh, Texas.
Yeah. I'm a little bit disappointed. Like Nova's been saying, we've been kind of disappointed. There is some cool stuff here. It's just it doesn't seem the payoff for being forced into like this weird Machina stuff is for Rune seems to be like that great. Interested to see how the neutral stuff will change that though, because you said Nova that you end up playing a lot of the neutral stuff carries the Machina stuff.
Yeah, it really does. It's the Mecha Wing Angel, the Mecha Gun Wielder, and Technolord.
Technolord, yeah.
Yeah, without those cards, this deck is absolute garbage.
Fair. All right. Here's some social media stuff for us to follow, or for you guys to follow. Why do I keep saying us? Okay, for you guys to follow. So, check out our Twitter or X or whatever. And then here's some Blue Sky social stuff. With that being said, guys, any last minute shout outs? Otherwise, we're closing this video out.
Shout out for the Shadowverse Evolved Discord and the Shadowverse Wiki.
Let's go.
Shout out to the Cubs front office. Do not trade Nico Horner. Do not trade Nico Horner, please.
All right.
And shout out to Belphegor for being the best.
For being husband material. We got it. All right.
For being ultimate husbando #1.
All right. With that being said, guys, we'll see you guys in the next video, which should be Dragon. Later, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.